Hey, thanks for joining me today on this Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Oh, it's a good one, and we got a great show today. We're talking about the digital Panopticon. That is your fun word of the week. Looks like we're live. You know, I have to press the start stream to be able to go live. So if you were waiting for me, I thought I clicked it, but I didn't. But we'll sort it all out anyway, and then we'll get through the news of the day, go through some of the headlines. But right at the beginning, let's get into it. The digital Panopticon. There's an old prison design called the Panopticon. Circular cells, a tower in the center. The prisoners can't see the guard, so they assume he's watching. That's enough. You don't need force. You need uncertainty. Now, update the architecture. You don't live in a cell. You live in a feed. Your name is searchable. Your past is permanent. Your words are screenshotable, if that's a word. Your audience is invisible. The algorithm is opaque. You never quite know who's watching, so you adjust. You soften the sentence, you skip the joke, you avoid the topic, not because you're told to, because it's rational. Visible punishment teaches quickly. A few public examples, the rest update quietly. Humans are tribal. For most of our history, exile meant death. Today, exile is reputational, economic, algorithmic. Your nervous system doesn't care about the difference. It just reads threat. At first, you self-censor. You have that thought, you don't post it, then something changes. You stop generating certain thoughts in public. Then eventually, you stop generating them at all. No law was passed, no rule was announced. The boundaries simply tightened. Because when surveillance is possible and memory is permanent, the punishment is public. Hesitation becomes intelligence. And when hesitation becomes the intelligent thing to do, control doesn't feel like control. It feels like good judgment. The guard doesn't watch you. You do. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, your favorite streaming show live. Right now, flame on. Yeah, we're talking about the digital Panopticon. Let me see if I can get that closed. Here we are. And I don't know why. On my computer, it looks so nice and bright. My graphic looks so nice and bright. Does it look nice and bright to you? It doesn't. It looks dark and you can't even see it. What the hell? What the hell are you going to do? Oh well. So just imagine, if you will, there were some really awesome graphics here in this slide deck. Because there are. I just can't see them very well. Anyway, the digital Panopticon, from surveillance. Now it's self-surveillance. This isn't about censorship. It's about like compliance, but nobody's commanding you to do it, right? It's a system where nobody has to tell you what to think because you've already learned the cost of thinking out loud. Yeah. So here's the original design. You might be watched. The Panopticon was simple. The tower's in the center, cells are around the outside. Prisoners, they couldn't see the prison guard. They didn't need to. The possibility was enough for, I don't know, anyone with an IQ of 80 or more, right? Eventually, the prisoners just behaved as if they were being watched because they didn't know. Because that's all it takes. That's all it takes. So you live in a profile now, right? You look out at your life, your words, they're archived, your opinions, they're now searchable. Any joke you make is permanent. Your mistakes are forever, right? Even though the audience is invisible, you never know who's watching you. So you assume, right? The right thing to do is just assume everyone's watching you. And that assumption is just going to reshape you. So you adjust before anyone tells you what to do, right? They didn't come up with any rules. There's no new rules. There's no warning, right? You're a smart person. You just feel the calculation. So you soften what you're going to say. You skip your thought. You choose the safer angle. You hesitate. It's internalized surveillance. And here's the thing that gets me, right? It seems like wisdom, right? It seems like you're doing the smart thing. So the system doesn't need like universal enforcement. They don't. It needs spectacle, a visual humiliation. Right? Lose your job, public apology, whether it was justified, well, it doesn't even matter. Right? The signals spread. Be careful wherever you are. Be careful. And at first, you censor your speech. And then you censor certain topics, right? You just don't bring them up anymore. And then you censor instincts. And eventually, when you're not thinking about those things, you no longer think about those things. They've shifted the boundaries and you didn't even notice because they didn't announce it, right? It just did. So we enforce this on ourselves. And here's the really uncomfortable part, right? We don't hesitate. We police, we screenshot, we amplify outrage, we pile on, we reward conformity. And by we, I mean everybody. We punish the people that are different. Deviation, that's what we punish. We become the tower for each other. The guard isn't some faceless authority anymore, right? It's the crowd. It's the algorithm. It's the timeline. It's us. So now we've got control without visible control. The digital Panopticon doesn't need obedience. It needs anticipation. It needs you to imagine the punishment before it arrives. And once you start imagining it, you don't need a guard anymore. You've internalized the guard. The guard doesn't watch you. You do. And sometimes you're the guard for everyone else. Yeah. That's the big idea for today. The digital Panopticon, but we've got other stories to get to, but I do want to hear what you think about that idea. The idea that digital Panopticon is not an original idea from me. I've seen it. I've seen a couple people reference this online in the past week or so, and I said, "Oh, I've never heard that term before. That's pretty clever. I kind of get what that could be. So let me define it." Right? Anyway, what else? So here we go. So let us get to it. Let's see. Boom. And is it here? Here we go. What's up, Big Daddy? Nice to see you in the chat. We've got a couple people here, so thanks for joining today. Let's get to the news. This is not. That's weird. Let me rescan the show here. Let me try this one more time. Huh. Guess I got wrong graphics loaded in. Way to go. Way to go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Way to start your Monday, Tom. Off on the right foot. Doing everything wrong. But okay, let's just get to the news. Here we are. Uber is doubling down on its robo-taxi ambitions, launching a new initiative to support third-party partners with substantial investment and resources. So they're going all in. Uber doesn't need drivers anymore. Not for long. I know a couple people that work driving. Better find something else, right? I don't know how this could not be telegraphed any more clear. That Uber drivers are going to be a thing of the past. Probably, here's my prediction, by the end of the year. No more Uber drivers, no more Lyft drivers. It will be all autonomous. Things move quickly. I saw this a lot when I was in Vegas last year. All the going up and down the strip were driverless taxis. And here, it's interesting because Uber is pivoting, right? So they had this huge resource, which were the, I don't know, probably 100,000 people nationwide that were driving for them. Don't need them anymore. Not when you can be replaced by a robot. And I think this is going to be the real example for people to say, oh crap, what are we going to do? Like automation is here. And, we get rid of the Uber drivers. Next thing is the truck drivers. And in many states, that's the number one job for men without a college degree. It's truck driver. I think those are probably going away as well. Anyway, let's see. Maybe this is right. I don't know. What do I know? Not a whole lot of anything. Kirill Dmitriev, an aide to Putin, has called for UK Labour leader Keir Starmer to resign over controversies involving Epstein and Epstein-linked figures. Is this a troll? Right? Probably. Now, you probably wouldn't see this article that the Putin aide says that Britons deserve better. Because, I don't know if you can see up in the corner right here. You can see the source. Yeah. Anyway. If a Russian aide is calling for your resignation, maybe you should consider your life choices. Not doing a good job if that is the case. And I have no idea why Starmer. Apparently, Starmer totally knew about this guy hanging out on the island, and it didn't stop him from giving him a job. Kind of nuts. And And if Keir Starmer, you would think though that if your popularity is so low, you might quit, but no, that's not the case. I don't think anybody does. They just try to ride it out, whatever. 5% approval rating. I'll just write it out, So yeah, that's it. Well, what the heck is happening down in Mexico? Well, Mexico's most powerful cartel leader is killed by security forces. So they killed the Jalisco New Generation cartel. I don't think it has any association with Pepsi. But this is a big blow to one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. I never even heard of it. I mean, I know Jalisco. I never heard of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, but it must be a big thing because they're telling us it is. Right? That's how it works. Do you think the Mexican government is finally gaining some ground in their drug war? Don't know. But there may be an opportunity. Who knows? Maybe down there in Jalisco, maybe real estate is a real buy right now. Something to consider, right? The best deals you can find are when there's blood on the streets. I know. I think that's an expression. Is that an expression? It should be. Which is a rather brutal way of thinking about it, but it is. And you got to wonder, if they take out the head of the cartel, is it really no big deal because his number two steps in? Or is this the guy that's really running the things and it can't run without him? We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Perhaps the United States, they should concentrate on what they could do to take away the demand for this, and we wouldn't need cartels to bring drugs into the country, but I don't know. I guess the war on drugs has never really worked, and maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. Oh, here's some interesting story here. Probably haven't heard of this guy, but now you have. Rob Jetten becomes Netherlands' youngest ever prime minister. Look at that dude there. He's become the youngest and first openly gay prime minister of the Netherlands. Yeah. Not sure why we care about that, but might just kind of show you that anyone can become minister of prime minister of the Netherlands, right? 38 though, boy, young. That's real young. What did you have done at 38? Me, not much. I would think I was not much. Don't even know if I was working. But imagine, if you will, a cabinet and everybody was under 40, right? It would just be, I don't know, such a meme. I don't know. I had a hot take and I can't remember what it was. But this is the thing. It's like, hey, should we gamble on youth over experience? We're going with youth with Mom Dami here in New York City. I wonder how that's going to work out. Oh, I don't know. They say we have the government we deserve, and I kind of agree, which is sad. Here's something to think about. I was thinking about this recently. AMC Theaters attendance drops 10%, quarterly revenues fall. 10% drop in revenue at the theaters. There's not many theaters left. I don't know about you, but all our movie theaters are closing here in Portland. Well, everything is closing in Portland. We had, I think, the world's or America's oldest indoor mall. That's closing. I guess the theater next to it, that's closing too. Probably the theater inside of it, I guess that would have to close as well. But AMC Theaters is facing a tough time. 10% drop in the quarter. Is this a sign that the movie-going experience has lost its appeal? Do you know anybody that goes to the movie theater anymore? I mean, I went exactly 0 times in the last quarter. I can't remember the last time I went to the theater at all. I went a couple times over COVID just to get out and be around human beings. But I don't go to the movie theater anymore. Yeah, but perhaps there's some, perhaps they can change. Maybe they could have like a Netflix night, right? Or have TV watching parties, things like that. We need more community style events. You got season finale of something. Maybe they could have that at the movie theater. Be around other people. I don't know. They're going to have to come up with some new ideas, though. Otherwise, movie theaters are cooked. And maybe they are. Maybe they are. But then again, kind of seems like a lot of things are, right? Yeah. So what's going on with this? Apparently, it shows how much I've been paying attention, but the government shutdown hits day 10 as Congress returns to tackle funding for Department of Homeland Security. I guess I wasn't even paying attention, because I guess I heard it shut down, but I haven't noticed. It hasn't affected me as far as I can tell, so I don't know, keep it closed. Does the government have to be open for Trump to have his State of the Union tomorrow? You would think. Right? You'd need a couple employees to, turn on the teleprompter and hit the lights, right? But I don't know. But I guess we'll hear about this tomorrow, the State of the Union. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. And this whole idea of not funding the Department of Homeland Security, do you not have Homeland Security? Do you not have security? Is that it? Like, maybe we should tie the Department of Homeland Security in, like, tie border security in with security for politicians. So if you don't fund our security as a nation, then you don't get security as a congressperson or as a senator. I would tie that together, but I can't imagine that they would, since they're the ones making the laws. I don't think that they would pass any law like that. Anyway, I guess there's a blizzard happening. For me, the blizzard is just a lot of rain. I didn't get to go on my walk this morning because it was rain was a little bit too hard, but look at this. Blizzard hits New York City and Northeast. Winds intensify, forcing millions to stay home. Yeah, I saw this too. Mandami, if you want to go out and join the snow shoveling team, you need 2 forms of ID and a Social Security card. Oh, the irony is rich there. But apparently, over on the East Coast, a fierce blizzard has swept through New York City and Northeast U.S., dumping heavy snow, bringing strong winds. Travel bans, blizzard warnings, all in effect. Were you prepared for this? Are you prepared for this? That's something, I think 2 years ago this month, we had a massive storm here in Portland, and I was without electricity for like a day and a half, which for me, that was too much. My street, actually, they were out for about 4 or 5 days. But I'm on the corner, so I'm right next to the electric pole. I didn't lose it as long as everyone else did. But it does make you think about preparing for these kinds of events. I did get some solar equipment and a little solar generator, so that if all power goes out, I guess I can still plug in the big TV and charge my laptop and watch some movies that I've already downloaded or something. So that's cool. You don't really have to worry about your refrigerator or your freezer if it goes out in the winter and it goes out because of the snow and the ice, because you could just put your stuff in, put things in a big ice chest and put it on the back porch, right? But it's important to have a little bit of electricity, take care of things. So hope you're doing okay if you're out there on the East Coast. I was totally oblivious to it until I read it in the news this morning. So yeah, what do we got next? Yeah, a little bit. Oh, shocker! This comes as a shock to absolutely nobody. Zelensky rejects territorial concessions to Russia, because of course he does. This is reported in RT. Not going to get this story on MS, DNC, MS Now, right? CNN. But Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has firmly rejected any territorial concessions. Okay. How's that working out for you, dummy? I think there's about a 0% chance that Russia will give up the land that they've taken. I would put that at about 0%. So what psychological impact do you think this has for the poor Ukrainians that are stuck in Ukraine, that hear their leader saying, not until they kill every last one of us? It's got to backfire, right? This has to backfire. You would think. I don't know. It's obviously some kind of play. I mean, I know he's doing it because that's what whoever is funding him is telling him to do. But this saddens me. Ukraine, they've been going at this for too long a time. I think their refusal to concede territory, it's like the worst kind of pride you can have. It's this whole, I would rather die than give up. Well, then you're dead, right? Right? Then you're dead. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But, that's what we've come to expect from, little Zelensky over there. That's what he does. All right. What do we got next? Trump predicts Supreme Court will rule against him on birthright citizenship after after he lost the tariff decision. This is really showing some tension between the Supreme Court and the Trump. It does kind of raise questions about what can a president actually do, right? What's the power? Birthright citizenship is like a hot button issue. And I think, depending on how this comes out, this could be a wedge. This could be something that Trump could use, right? Losing on this case, could lose in bringing people out to vote for the midterm. So this could be, this could be a 4D chess, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I do think, though, if they do rule against birthright citizenship, I think this is really going to be an assault on American identity, and it could really change a lot of things going forward. So who knows what the unintended consequences of this will be? We'll just have to see. With so many of these stories, that's what I keep repeating. We'll just have to see what happens. But, you know, isn't that what everybody says? Right? Or maybe I should just come out and say I know exactly what's going to happen. Right? If this happens, the Republicans will totally win the midterms. You heard it here first. Yeah, maybe that's a better take. Anyway, speaking of Trump and approval, 60% disapprove of Trump ahead of State of the Union. Post ABC Ipsos poll finds. Wow. Well, on a positive note, right? Would that mean 40% do approve? Well, I don't know. They're saying here that his approval rating is 41%. Not sure how that works out. But then again, if he's at 41%, what is everyone else at? Are there any politicians that have higher than a 41% approval rating? I don't think so. I know Congress has got to be a lot lower than that. So I don't know that this is really that big a deal. But you know, it's a good headline, right? It's a good headline to let's just concentrate on the negative, because that's what you do. This was originally in the Washington Post, but I can't go to Washington Post articles. But this DNYUZ, essentially what they do, I don't know who runs this site, but essentially they steal articles from like the Washington Post and then just reprint them with no ads, which I approve of. So there's that. I don't know, 60%. I mean, it sounds dire, right? But what if this is just a way to rally the base? Could be. Could be. That's what I will say. This is, I need to reframe this. This is a rallying cry to rally the base. And that is what you're going to see. You heard it here first. But anyway, we need some good news, but let's just get to it. Here we go. Growing number of adults are returning to school for career advancement and personal interests, not because they lost their job. Wait, that wouldn't be good news. No, it's good news that they are, and it's making a significant trend in education. Millions are enrolling in various programs, job training, micro-credentials, and it's reshaping the education landscape. So, good. Right? Someone needs to reshape it, because it needs reshaping, right? As an adult, have you taken any learning? Gone to any trainings or anything like that? I'm pretty much just learning stuff with AI and at home by myself, but I should do that. I should enroll in a class, get out, meet some people. You know, maybe if all of these seniors are going to college now, they could maybe offer a nap room, right? I don't know, have Jello in the cafeteria. Oh, I kid. But this is kind of a sign that, universities are going to have to pivot. Not as many students are enrolling in university, so what can they do? They could pivot to training all the people that are losing their jobs. Yeah. So I guess that's good news, right? It's an opportunity, at least. I don't know. I'm trying to be positive. Anyway, that's all I have today. Stick around for the after show. I'll go through through all your comments. I'll be back on Wednesday, and hope to see you then. Peace. I don't know. Let's see. Is it this one? Nope. All right. Here we go. See if I can get the comments on the screen here. Where's my mouse? That is not it. Let's go. Here we go. Is that it? Yeah. Look at that. I got the comments on the screen. Big Daddy's in the house. Celev111, I haven't watched the news for 4 months. Almost zero social media. Only chat with friends. Life is so much calmer, happier. I don't care about having an opinion anymore. Live by the heart. I love that. Who needs an opinion anymore? But I'm glad you're doing great. Doug, what's up? Glad you made it. Yeah, smash the like button. Right? Let's see if I can make it to 3 likes today. ABC only polls Democrats. Well, I don't know. I think they have to look into the polls. It's interesting. I got into looking at the polls when it was in the presidential elections years ago. And that's kind of when I realized that all the polls were BS. But it's hard to tell people that unless... it's hard for people to get that, right? It's hard for people to get that the polls are BS. Let's see if I can... Nope. There we go. In much the same way, if you say the news is BS, unless you're there, you sound like a nut. You sound like a conspiracy theorist. But what I noticed when I got into looking at the polls... all of the polls they publish, and you can go and you can actually look at the questions that they ask. You can look at who they surveyed. You can look at the margin of error, and sometimes the margin of error was really big. And it's like, why are you putting out this poll saying that, oh, this has gone up 2%, but the margin of error is like 6%? It doesn't even mean anything. It's like just nonsense. And that's one of the things that I learned looking into the polls. If anyone's ever taken a statistics class, look into some opinion polls, and then you will laugh yourself silly. So yeah, Doug says he's going back to school. Says those are ex-government employees. Okay, well, got to do something, right? I'm glad. Yeah, life is a roller coaster. Ups and downs, but always fun. That's good to hear. Go back to college thing is for the older people. That's good news. The bad news is they can't afford to live off their retirement checks, and they got to go back to work. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be able to live in the future. I mean, not to be a doomer. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, things might be a bit exaggerated to me because I live in Portland, and Portland has just been going downhill for the past 6 years. Like, all the businesses are leaving, all the rich people are leaving. There's homeless everywhere, there's crime everywhere. Crime is and then they do things like saying, oh, crime is down, right? According to our statistics, crime is down. And it's like, well, they stopped taking crime reports, right? So it's like, yeah, if you get ripped off and then you call and you have to wait on hold for over an hour, to get somebody to take the report, yeah, crime is going to go down, right? But the crime didn't go down. It just the reporting on the crime went down. But because I'm in a place that many people are losing their jobs, many corporations are just laying everybody off here in Portland, I think more so than in the rest of the country. I think maybe I'm at the tip of the spear, right? I'm seeing it. But I don't know what's going to happen when it goes back. Doug says, I am not going back to school. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, I read that wrong the first time. Anyway. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. If I did, I'd probably be rich, right? So, anywho, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for smashing the like button, and I will see you on Wednesday. Peace.